Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So in today's video, I wanted to head to my local Lowe's Garden Center and check out what they've currently got in stock. It is still fall planting time here in my area, which is zone 7B, 8A in Georgia. And so I wanted to see what they have in stock and share some information about those plants with you guys as well. Now, in addition to that, if I've done any videos about some of the plants that are featured in today's visit, then I'll make sure to include those in this video as well so you guys can learn even more information. All right, you guys, I think that's it. So let's get to it. All right, you guys, we are here and it looks pretty promising out here. So let's go take a look at what they've got. The first thing that really caught my eye was the Forever Goldie Arborvitae for $46.98, and it's part of the Southern Living Plant Collection. They get about 10 to 12 feet high and 3 to 3.5 feet wide. They're hardy to zones 5 through 8 with a fast growth habit and are noted to have lower water requirements. The bright golden foliage is absolutely beautiful and eye-catching to me, and they came in these cute holiday containers so you could decorate them for the holidays, and then if you wanted, you can move them into the landscape after the holidays. They also have dwarf Alberta spruce for $24.98. They're noted for full sun with an average growth of 3 to 4 feet high and wide and are noted as non-hardy in zones 1 through 3. And then they have smaller dwarf Alberta spruce for $19.98 that are pre-planted in the pretty holiday containers as well. Next, I came across the golden mott false cypress, which is noted for full sun, for $36.98 for the 2¼ gallon size. This is noted to grow 6 to 8 feet high and 10 feet wide and non-hardy in zones 1 through 3. These are also pre-planted in holiday containers and really stand out again with that golden coloration. They have a larger size of dwarf Alberta spruce for $49.98, which is the 2¼ gallon size. It came with a little decoration, or at least this one did that I was looking at, and are also pre-planted in holiday containers. Next is the compact pyramid holly for $39.98. These grow to 3 feet high and wide and are non-hardy in zones 1 through 4. They have Oakland hollies for $49.98. This is noted as full sun to part shade, growing to an average size of 15 to 20 feet high and 12 to 15 feet wide, and hardy in zones 6 through 9. This features red berries in late winter, which should help in attracting birds and has a moderate to fast growth rate. They have Leland cypress trees in a 2¼ gallon size for $24.98. These grow to an average size of 50 feet high and 15 feet wide and are non-hardy to zones 1 through 5. I personally have a few Leland cypress trees in my landscape and have found them to be easy to care for and great for privacy screening. They have these small emerald green arborvitaes for $12.98 in decorative containers. I love using these smaller sized trees and decorating them for the holidays outside and then planting them in the ground after the holidays. Next is one of my favorite evergreen trees that I have in my landscape, and that's the Carolina sapphire cypress. This is $24.98 and is noted as non-hardy in zones 1 through 6. They're noted to grow to an average mature size of 35 feet high and 20 feet wide and have this beautiful bluish gray-green color that I absolutely love. They have several options of pre-planted arrangements with mums and grasses. They vary in price, with this particular arrangement priced at $29.98 and comes in a variety of colors that are very much in keeping with a fall theme and Thanksgiving to me. They have snapdragons, which I actually just planted myself in my front garden. These pretty orange colored 1 quart sizes are $4.98 each, and these 2½ quart sizes are $6.98. These are wonderful flowers that I've enjoyed for a couple of years now, and I'll link my Snapdragon video as well as my recent fall planting video in the description if you'd like to learn more about these great flowers. They have pre-planted containers of pansies and creeping jenny for $30.98. Now, I plant with creeping jenny quite often in my containers and love both the color and ease of maintenance of them, not to mention the fact that they come back year after year. The pansies in these containers were this really pretty yellow and deep purple colorations. Now, they also have pretty large containers of mums and grasses for $59.98. They have different colors of the mums with the grass, and I like how the colors of the mums play off the purple in the grass that they included in these arrangements. They have smaller containers of pre-planted mums for $14.98 in several pretty colors, but make sure to keep watching because I also came across mums on the clearance racks that looked quite nice as well for a fraction of the cost. Now, I really like the shape of these containers of mums. They are $14.98 each, and the mums come in a variety of colors in these containers as well. They have 1 pint size violas and pansies for $1.98 each. Now, they didn't have much of a selection yet as I was anticipating, but I'd imagine that they'll be getting more in soon and we'll definitely be keeping a lookout for that. If you guys would like to learn more about pansies and violas, the differences between the two, and which I prefer most, please make sure to check out my video that I'll link in the description. They have ready to refill mums where you can just drop it into a container you already have. These are $16.98 and they come with a few different color combinations in each container. These next flowers are so unique to me, and I've planted them myself around the holidays. These are cyclamen, and they're pre-planted in containers for $12.98 each. They're noted as non-hardy below 40 degrees Fahrenheit and grow to an average mature size of about 10 to 16 inches high and 8 to 12 inches wide. These are noted as deer resistant, which is a nice plus as well. And they do have red and white planted together as well as pink and white colored flowers. Now, if you do want to plant cyclamen yourself, then they have 6 packs available for $12.98 in pink and red. The polka dot plants really stand out to me, and I thought that the different color variations would pair nicely with the cyclamen in a container. Both the cyclamen and polka dot plants are noted for part sun and have similar water requirements, which is important to keep in mind when you're putting together your plants for your own containers. Next, we have the Yuletide camellias, which always make me think of the holidays with their beautiful red color. They're $29.98 for the 2¼ gallon size. These grow 8 to 10 feet high and 10 feet wide and are non-hardy in zones 1 through 6. I absolutely love camellias since they bloom in fall and winter when most plants are really done blooming. You can see here that there are so many buds on these plants just ready to bloom probably in the next month or so. They have wintergreen boxwoods for $9.98. These are noted to grow 3 to 4 feet high and wide and are non-hardy in zones 1 through 3 and are deer resistant. There's the compact Japanese holly for $9.98 that grows to 6 feet high and wide and is non-hardy in zones 1 through 5. They have the ruby fringe flower or Laura petalum ruby for $19.98. This variety grows to 6 feet high and wide and is non-hardy in zones 1 through 6. And just look at this beautiful burgundy green color. I recently did a video on Laura petalum, which I'll include in the description if you'd like to learn more about these fabulous plants. Now, if you want to attract butterflies to your landscape, then I would take a look at our next plant, which is the butterfly bush. This variety is called the Nanho Purple Butterfly Bush for $16.98, and it's noted to get 6 to 8 feet high and 4 to 5 feet wide, and is non-hardy in zones 1 through 4 and is still blooming. Look at these pretty flowers. There's the autumn lily encore azalea for $14.98. The encore azaleas are known to bloom spring, summer, and fall for multi-season color. They also have the autumn majesty encore azalea for $24.98 in the 2 gallon size. These have beautiful semi-double blooms and are hardy in USDA zones 6A through 10. There's also the Autumn Empress Encore Azaleas for $14.98, which grow to an average of 4 feet high and 3 feet wide in zones 6B through 10. And then there's the Autumn Embers Encore Azalea for $24.98 with semi-double 2.5-inch size blooms. This is also noted as a dwarf azalea with growth to 3 feet high and 3.5 feet wide in USDA zones 6B through 10. They have the snow white Indian hawthorn, which is a spring blooming shrub that is noted to attract butterflies and birds. This shrub averages 4 feet high and wide at its mature size and is non-hardy in zones 1 through 6, and it's also noted to be a great plant for beginners. Now, this is the clearance that I mentioned earlier where I saw several different mums on the clearance racks, and I was surprised to see some of them there because they're still actively blooming and have a lot of buds on the plants as well. Also, they have some that are pre-planted, so I thought that these were a good deal, particularly if you're looking for a container that you can use for future plantings as well. The larger pots are marked at $24.98, which would be half off at their clearance markdown price. And then they had plants that were $4.98 that would be $2 after their markdown price. So it's definitely worth taking a step back in the back and taking a look at those clearance racks. Now, I'm not sure if I've seen this before, but this is called the vintage jade and is noted as a low spreading shrub with evergreen foliage that blooms in late winter. I absolutely love winter blooming plants because it's so unexpected to see in the wintertime and really stands out when you have something blooming in winter in the landscape. Now, this one caught my attention just in the name itself. It's the mood ring podocarpus from the Southern Living collection. This shrub is noted for full sun to part shade, grows 10 to 15 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide, and is marked for USDA zones 7B through 10. It has this pretty bronze pink new growth that turns green and is deer resistant and noted as a tough shrub that is low maintenance. Next is the Leanne Cleara, again from the Southern Living collection. This is a full sun shrub noted to grow to an average of 10 to 12 feet high and 6 to 7 feet wide in USDA zones 7 through 10. I think this is such a pretty shrub with the beautiful maroon coloring and the new foliage in fall color. They have the Bayou Bliss Distilleum for $24.98. This shrub is noted for full sun and grows 2 to 3 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide in USDA zones 7 through 9 with this really pretty greenish blue foliage color. It's noted as a great alternative to boxwoods or hollies. I absolutely love the texture of this next plant, which is the Dragon Prince Cryptomeria. This is noted as a full sun evergreen shrub that gets 2 to 3 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide and is hardy in zones 6 through 9 and tolerates a wide range of different soils. Next is the Everillo Evercolor Carex. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I really like this plant because it adds that pretty pop of golden chartreuse color in part shade to shade areas, either in the ground or in containers, and helps to brighten those darker areas. This plant is noted as hardy to USDA zones 5 through 9 and is $9.98. There's the purple daydream loropetalum, which is a dwarf loropetalum growing to 2 to 3 feet high and 3 to 4 feet wide in full sun to part shade areas. Loropetalum is also known as fringe flower, and you can see why with the string or fringe-like flower that you see here. I think the flowers of these plants are so unique, and I love seeing these in the landscape. They also have the purple diamond loropetalum for $24.98, which is a semi-dwarf loropetalum growing to 4 to 6 feet high and 4 to 5 feet wide with bright pink flowers in spring. These are hardy in USDA zones 7 through 10. There's the blush pink Nandina for $24.98. This shrub is noted to grow 2 feet high and 1.5 to 2 feet wide and has more of a low growth habit with blush colored new growth that matures into deep green. They also have Obsession Nandina for $24.98 that grows a bit bigger than the blush pink Nandina I was just referring to. This grows to 3 to 4 feet high and wide and has bright red colored new growth and more of an upright growth habit. There's the white dogwood tree for $58, and just look at the fall color pictured on the tag here. This tree grows to an average mature size of 25 feet high and 15 feet wide and is non-hardy in zones 1 through 4. You can see this pretty color as it's just starting to turn into the fall coloration. This blue jay blueberry bush is $32.98 and grows to 6 feet high and wide. These looked really healthy and were a really good size as well. They have waxleaf privet, which is marked as pollinator friendly with its fragrant white blooms in spring. The recommended light is partial to full sun and noted for zones 7 through 11. This is an evergreen shrub, and it's said that it responds well to pruning into a hedge, small tree, or even a topiary, although I'm not sure I personally would attempt the topiary with my lack of artistic skills. There's the winter gem boxwood for $42.98. This is an evergreen shrub that's said to be among the hardiest of the small leaf boxwoods and provides year round interest, with the foliage taking on a golden bronze hue in colder winter climates. The winter gem boxwood grows to an average size of 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. This is the Arbequina, I hope I'm saying that correctly, olive, which is part of their patio collection. And while I don't personally like olives, I love the look of this olive shrub. This is noted to be non-hardy in zones 1 through 7 and is suggested to move indoors in cold weather. Next, we have the Mini Penny Royal Majestics Hydrangea for $27.98. The plants looked quite healthy and are noted to have highly disease-resistant foliage. This is a dwarf variety of hydrangea growing to 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide, with a blooming period throughout the summer. They also have the Endless Summer Bloom Struck for $16.98, which are still blooming. These are noted to rebloom and are hardy in zones 4 through 9. Not only are the blooms pretty, but the leaves had a bit of red coloration that's so pretty, as well as the lovely red stems. I've seen the next plants several times over the summer, which makes me think that it might be a sign to add them to my garden. This is the Primo Black Pearl Heuchera, or Coral Bells, with the beautiful dark leaves and stems, and even the backside of the leaves have this beautiful bright pinkish red color. I think this is so unique and may be an addition to my garden in the next year. This twilight hosta is marked at 1348 and is noted for its extreme cold hardiness, down to -30 to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. These get 22 inches high and 60 to 70 inches wide and bloom in the summertime and even have buds and blooms on them currently. They also have the Ario marginata hosta for $6.98, which is noted for extreme cold hardiness as well. The great thing about hostas is that they come in many different varieties and are great for those areas that get partial sun or shade. Staying more in shade requirements, we have the Japanese spurge for $4.98, which is noted as a ground cover that has white flowers in spring and is deer resistant, whereas the hostas are generally not deer resistant. So that's something to keep in mind if you do struggle with deer in your yard. Next is Diamond Spire gardenias, which is such a unique looking gardenia to me. These grow 3 to 4 feet high and 2 feet wide and bloom spring through fall in USDA zones 7 through 10. What I love about this particular variety is the upright growth, which I think would look nice in a container, and then the unique foliage of the plant itself. They also have jubilation gardenias, which grow 3 to 4 feet high and wide in full sun to part shade. This variety blooms heavily in spring and then reblooms summer to fall and is hardy to USDA zones 7 through 10. Gardenias are one of my favorite scents in the garden, and I found them to be very easy to care for as well. There are California elephant ears, which I have not had personally, but have seen them planted in both containers and landscapes and think they're a stunning addition. These grow 3 to 4 feet high and wide on average and are noted as non-hardy in zones 1 through 6. There's Silvery Sunproof Liriope for $7.98. This is a part-sun ground cover that's non-hardy in zones 1 through 5 and grows 15 inches high and wide. I do have Liriope in my garden and use it as a low-growing ground cover to help with erosion on a slight slope that I have in my garden. This is a plant that I've found very easy to care for and has the added bonus of these pretty purple blooms in late summer. I really love the color of this next plant, and it is called the Golden Euonymus. This is marked as non-hardy in zones 1 through 5. Just look at this pretty golden color that would really stand out as a great addition in the landscape. There's the Sky Pencil Japanese Holly for $24.98. These grow to an average mature size of 6 to 8 feet high and 1.5 feet wide, and you can see where this would fit in a more narrow area in the landscape. There are several fruiting trees for $32.98, including red delicious apple trees, early Alberta peach trees, plum methley trees, and Macintosh apple trees. There's double knockout roses, which are still blooming in my area. I have several knockout roses in my landscape, and they are so easy to care for. These roses are priced at $25.98 for 2-gallon containers. We saw some larger sizes of Leland cypress trees earlier in the video, but they also do have smaller sizes as well, priced at $9.98 each. They also have emerald green arborvitaes in larger sizes for $48.98. These are noted as non-hardy in zones 1 through 2 and grow to an average mature size of 15 feet high and 4 feet wide. There are green weeping willow trees for $34.98 each that are non-hardy in zones 1 through 5 and grow to an average mature size of 75 feet high and 50 feet wide. They also have red maple trees for $32.98, which grow to an average of 50 feet high and 35 feet wide and are non-hardy in zones 1 through 3. These were just starting to turn to that beautiful red color for fall. In addition to the Yuletide camellia we saw earlier in the video, they also have the Silver Waves camellia for $89.99. This was a really nice sized camellia with buds all over, ready to open anytime from winter to early spring, depending on the region. This is an evergreen shrub that reaches to 6 to 8 feet tall and wide and has glossy dark green leaves. They have the spring bouquet viburnum. I have viburnum planted in my landscape and have really enjoyed the addition. This is an evergreen shrub that blooms in spring with pinkish white flowers. It grows to a height and width of 4 to 6 feet tall and wide and is noted for USDA hardiness zones 7 through 11. I'll put a link to my viburnum video in the description if you'd like to learn more about these beautiful plants. They have the leatherleaf mahonia, which is noted as rabbit and deer resistant, which is definitely a consideration if you struggle with these visitors to your garden. It's noted as fragrant with showy flowers that bloom in early spring and reaches 6 to 10 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide. And it already had some leaves that were turning these pretty fall colors. If you guys have experience with this plant, please let me know in the comments. I'm very interested to see what your experience has been. There's the mint julep juniper, which is a pretty evergreen shrub that grows 6 feet tall and 8 feet wide in its natural form. And I thought the natural form was really pretty and just had an interesting growth pattern. The ballerina Indian hawthorn is an evergreen shrub that also is a late winter to early spring blooming plant and often repeat blooms in fall and produces dark berries. This sounded particularly nice to me as it has a neat compact growth habit and is noted to seldom be in need of pruning, which is great for someone like me who doesn't really prefer to prune. This plant is moderate growing, averaging 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. In addition to the encore azaleas mentioned earlier, they also have spring blooming fashion azaleas for $7.98 each in this beautiful coral pink color. It looked like they were just preparing their garden center for the holidays and making room for Christmas trees that should be arriving, I imagine, a little later this month. However, I did come across a couple of decorative pieces in the garden center area, including this holiday birch bundle for $14.98, which I thought was really pretty. And then they had a pine cone ornament decoration for $12.98. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I always enjoy going to my local garden centers and checking out what they've got in stock and sharing that with you guys. So thank you so much again. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video. All right, you guys, until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.